Emily Parker sat at her desk staring at the letter she had just received. The ornate crest of Blackwood Manor was emblazoned at the top of the parchment, and the words below seemed to shimmer in the dim light of her apartment. She had heard of the manor before, a sprawling estate deep in the countryside, shrouded in mystery and legends. It was a place her family rarely spoke of, and when they did, it was with a mixture of fear and reverence. The letter informed her that she was the sole heir to Blackwood Manor, following the death of her great-uncle, Arthur Blackwood. She barely remembered meeting him as a child, but the inheritance was a surprise. The terms were simple. She had to live in the manor for 1 year to claim her inheritance. Curiosity and a sense of duty urged her to accept. Emily packed her belongings and set off for the countryside, leaving behind the hustle and bustle of city life for the quiet, eerie isolation of Blackwood Manor.
Little did Emily know, this journey would change her life forever. The drive to Blackwood Manor was long and winding, the road narrowing as it twisted through dense forests and rolling hills. As Emily approached the estate, a sense of foreboding settled over her. The manor loomed ahead, its Gothic architecture standing out against the darkening sky.
She parked her car and stepped out, taking in the sight of her new home. The mansion was enormous, with ivy-covered walls and tall arched windows. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. The front door creaked open, revealing a grand foyer with a sweeping staircase and dusty chandeliers. The air inside was musty, and every step she took echoed through the empty halls. She found the main living area, where a fire had been lit in the massive stone fireplace, casting flickering shadows on the walls.
A note on the mantelpiece caught her eye. It was from Arthur's lawyer, welcoming her and informing her that the housekeeper, Mrs. Winters, would arrive in the morning to help her settle in.
Emily couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and unease as she prepared for her first night in Blackwood Manor. That night, Emily struggled to sleep. The wind howled outside, and the old house groaned and creaked as if alive. She tossed and turned, unable to shake the feeling that she was being watched. Finally, she drifted off into a fitful sleep, only to be awakened by a loud bang. She sat up, heart pounding, and listened. The house was silent, save for the faint sound of footsteps echoing down the hall.
Grabbing a flashlight, she crept out of her room and followed the noise. The footsteps led her to a door at the end of a long corridor. It was slightly ajar, and she pushed it open to reveal a small, dusty study. The room was filled with old books and papers, and an ancient typewriter sat on the desk, its keys worn from use. As she approached the desk, she noticed a journal lying open. The pages were filled with her great-uncle's handwriting, detailing his research into the history of Blackwood Manor. One entry caught her eye. The shadows move on their own, whispering secrets I cannot decipher. I fear the darkness within these walls is alive, watching, waiting.
Emily shivered and closed the journal. She felt a presence behind her and spun around, but the room was empty. She hurried back to her bedroom, her mind racing with questions.
The first night in Blackwood Manor was just the beginning of the mystery.